Ryan in Arizona. Ryan in Arizona, you're on with Tracie and Mandisa, and you have a Senate bill that you want to talk about public schools. Is that correct?
Yes. Hello, Tracie.
Hey.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
First off, Tracie, I would like to thank you and all the hosts of AXT for the wonderful work you guys do. The Atheist Experience played a significant role in my deconversion from Christianity. Please keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you for that statement. So we're looking at Senate Bill 373 in Indiana.
Yeah. The reason I called is that I would like to spread awareness of Indiana State Senate Bill 373. According to what I've read about it online, it's a bill introduced by Indiana State Senator Dennis Cruz, which would require public schools to put up which would require three things. It would require public schools to put up a durable poster or framed picture that says, "In God We Trust." It would require that any district offering elective courses that survey the religions of the world, say a comparative religions course, must include the study of the Bible. And most disturbingly, it allows the governing body of a school corporation to require the teaching of various theories concerning the origin of life, including creation science. Have either of you heard about this?
I have not.
No.
Yeah.
Can I give just a quick thoughts?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
So in God We Trust, you're going to have trouble getting anywhere with that because it has been tried in courts before, and they consider it to be a deistic sort of motto that is not like a Christian-specific thing, and so that usually is allowed to stand. And I'm not sure that I agree with it because I think they go into court and they argue that it's not Christian, and then they come out of court and they say, we're a Christian nation because it says in God we trust, right? So they're duplicitous. They're not honest about what, really happens in the public with regard to this motto, and yet the motto wins all the time in court. So in God we trust, as grating as that may be, would probably not survive. I mean, it would probably survive a challenge because it's been challenged and it stands. So that's kind of they're probably going to get that one. The comparative religion course that has to include the Bible, I think it's fair in the United States to include biblical religions in a comparative religion course because that has had like a huge influence on our society, right? And I would say not for the better. But I don't have really a problem with a comparative religion course, and I'm actually excited that they want to include other religions, right? Like, I'm sort of like, wow, it's not just the Bible. Like, I think some people are concerned that in their schools they're looking at like some kind of biblical studies that it gets squeezed in because of its literary significance in references. And so for this, I would probably be okay, but I would have some concerns, right? Because you don't want to open it up to a particular teacher putting in religious opinions. So that would have to be very carefully monitored. But I think comparative religion actually can do more good to open people's minds to the differences and the diversity in culture and religion. So, having studied like anthropology of religion, for example, I think it's a good thing to kind of understand that, wow, there's different religions out there than the one I see all the time. And if they do that, I'd be okay, even if they're including the Bible, which I think does have significance within our culture. The part about creationism, I think, is just completely off the wall. Yeah, like, I wouldn't back that. From what I'm reading,
the sponsor of the bill, which is, of course, a Republican. Sorry, didn't mean to say of course, but it says that the representative has a long history of sponsoring anti-evolution legislation. So it would be trying to teach more creation science rather than comparative literature or comparative religion. It would be more to push religion as a fact as opposed to...
That's a problem.
That's very much a problem.
Yeah, it was ruled unconstitutional.
Well, good.
The teaching of creation science in public schools was ruled unconstitutional by a federal court in McLean versus Arkansas in 1982 and by the Supreme Court in Edwards versus Aguilar in 1987. That's why I find this so alarming.
Right, and from what I'm reading here, that his previous bills that he introduced died in the state legislation. So the best thing would be to make sure that it dies again.
And what's interesting, though, is that the Senate has packed the courts, right? So I don't know what kind of court appointments have been made in your state or in this state. I guess this is not your state, but in Indiana, I don't know what court appointments may have been made or if they're dealing with the same court. But now that they have a SCOTUS that is conservative friendly, right? You're saying, hey, this has already been tried and this has already fallen. And so, why are they doing this? A lot of times what they do is they challenge the same stuff again when they have a differently leaning court, right? Because they're hoping that when this gets to SCOTUS this time, they're going to see it our way. And then it's going to stand. And that was sort of the fear that went on with the court starting to weight in a certain direction that may favor religious privilege or religious oppression in schools and things like this, that they repackage as religious freedom, when it's really just like we can capture your children in a public school and then start indoctrinating them.
Right.
I watched I wanted to spread awareness to the atheist community about this.
Sure.
Hopefully we'll be able to fight it.
Yeah. So again, they're saying that's Indiana Senate Bill 373, something to watch. I want to thank Ryan for calling it to our attention. And definitely you're going to see lawsuits like this. And they are going to start, the states are going to start bringing things like this again. And it's a little bit makes me nervous that it's a Senate bill and that the Senate is the one that confirmed all the judges. So they probably know which states to target for which legislation to get this stuff through to SCOTUS and get favorable opinions. When you start to see these cases and you think to yourself, oh, this got shot down already, it's just it's a different court now.
Yeah. All right. I know you guys give preferential treatment to guest callers, so I'd like to thank you again for taking my call.
Hey, thank you for your patience. Thank you so much for your patience in waiting